Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a late night edition of Delete Laws. I actually was going to do this whether I was live or not. I was going to do this no matter what. So I figured you guys could ask some questions. If you guys have any questions, give me a 5x5. You guys can hear me okay. I'm just going to run over some of this. The Mollen Commission. I know a lot of you have received the Mollen Commission from me. You got it from deletelaws.com, or you purchased something from me and then I emailed you everything I sell for free, and I likely included the Mollen Commission in it. So if you guys are new to my channel, everything that this channel is based on is overturning Terry versus Ohio, getting the Supreme Court elected to 10-year terms where they have to pass an impeachment inquiry every year because they're in charge of our civil liberties, getting the camera in the courtroom, getting rid of torture cuffs. If it's your first time here, then welcome. Thank you for coming. You're going to learn a lot today about police. A lot of people think that they know something about police, but they really don't know very much about policing or how police work. They don't know the internal workings of what's going on in the police industry. And so today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share. Now, obviously, we're taking a look today at the Mollen Commission. Did everybody hit the like button? Did everybody hit the like button? What's going on, Soy Leal? You know it, my friend. We don't stop. We don't stop. So you guys can see on screen, it says the Mollen Commission. Now, obviously, because I've read the Mollen Commission several times, I have mine all marked up. There's pages that I've marked in here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you along with me as I'm going to read some different passages in the Mollen Commission. And remember, you don't have to rely on me paging through this document page by page. You can go to deletelaws.com, get the downloads that are 100% for free, and it won't cost you anything to get them. And then download the Mollen Commission so you don't have to wait for me. You can just jump right in. Jump right in. If you would, pretty please. What's going on, April, Chris, Kenneth? How is everybody? Jeff hates pigs. Jeff hates pigs. Well, this is kind of going to be an eye-opening thing that if I've sent this to you, if you ordered anything from me ever, then I likely followed up with an email where I included the Mollen Commission in there. So right off the bat, we're going to jump over and we're going to scroll down here. I could get lost in some of the minutia in this, but I wanted to just jump into the table of contents, an overview of the commission's findings, the commission's investigations, the new nature of corruption, an overview, corruption and drugs, the new character of police corruption, the new organization of corruption, methods to create corruption, methods to escape detection, profile of today's corrupt cop, the erosion factor. So there's a lot of things in here that we're going to cover today. And I just wanted to open up the table of contents for you, because if you download this, if you take a look at it, thefts from street dealers, shakedowns, thefts from radio runs, thefts from unlawful searches and seizures, raids, doing doors, booming doors, thefts from lawful searches and seizures. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand what thefts from lawful searches and seizures actually means. Section 2, cops protecting and assisting narcotics traffickers. I forget, thefts from car stops and drug couriers, off-duty robberies, off-duty robberies. So this whole thing, section 3, cops as drug dealers and users, distributing and using drugs. Section 4, perjury and falsifying documents. Section 5, police violence and brutality, the link between brutality and acts of corruption. I may have emailed this to you, but have you actually taken the time to read it? Chapter 3, police culture and corruption. The code of silence, us versus them, the erosion of values and pride, police cynicism, Moral character and fitness, moral character and fitness, police unions. Conclusion, chapter 4, the collapse of the department's corruption controls. I mean, so when it says the collapse of the department's corruption controls, they're specifically talking about internal affairs. And I think if you guys take a look at the thumbnail of this video that I created, it says the open joke that internal affairs is. And so we're just going to go through this, and I'll show you guys what I did on my Mollen commission. I printed it out, and then I put 3-ring hole punches there, and then I taped it, and then I went through and I bookmarked a bunch of places in here that when you show people who are bootlickers or uneducated about what police do to the people in this country, the Mollen Commission is a 3-year federal investigation led by federal judge Milton Mollen. You know, I've lost all faith in judges. So I remember when I first read this, I was so enamored that I had so much deference that a federal judge did this investigation. Well, then what you find out is that Milton Mollen, I mean, there are, you know what? Let me just go by the places I bookmarked, because there's so much information here and I can get totally lost in talking about so many different parts of this commission. I highly recommend you go to deletelaws.com and you download this. It is so much fun to read. So let's just jump right into it. Okay, so I'm going to skip the rest of these because the willful blindness, it's so hard to skip these because they're so good. Performance evaluation. So quotas became performance evaluations. Resource and management failures. Integrity control officers. Oh, there's just so much. Fragmenting, minimizing, and concealing police corruption cases. So let's take, I mean, I very rarely, what do you guys want to read about first? Which part of this should we go into first? Because there's police culture and management. Let's commitment to integrity. Let's drop down to page 53. If you haven't downloaded this yet from the website, I highly recommend that you download this, but we're going to drop down to page 53. There's so much we're skipping here, but I only have so many minutes in a day, and today I've been just so slammed. I cannot even tell you. I've been, from morning to night today was just nonstop. And I was like, you know what? There are people who will be waiting, and I need to say something. So, oh, I'm on 53, please. Okay, here it is. The code of silence. That you police violence and brutality. Police culture and corruption. Let me just take a look and see what you guys can see so I know how much of the screen is being shown. Okay, let me get my fat head out of here. Oh, thanks, April. How is everybody tonight? How is everybody? What is going on? I'm so sorry for being so late today, but there was so many people who ordered Fifth Amendment cop cards and were like stocking stuffers. So I I have hired someone now to do the shipping, but it took me so much time. It took so much time. And it has to be done right. So let's jump into this. Thank you, April. God bless you for gifting people memberships. Let's jump right into this. And I'm just going to read this bad chicken. And if you guys are so inclined, download this from the website, deletelaws.com. So this says, more than 20 years after Frank Serpico's testimony, this commission found that the dishonest officers of the New York City Police Department still do not fear their honest colleagues, and for good reason. The vast majority of honest officers still protect the minority of corrupt officers through a code of silence few dare to break. The Knapp Commission predicted that the impact of their revelations would significantly weaken the characteristics of police culture that foster corruption. In particular, they hope that their success in persuading a number of corrupt police officers to testify publicly about corruption would forever undermine the code of silence, the unwritten rule that officers never incriminate a fellow officer. Unfortunately, their hope never became a reality. Police culture, the attitudes and values that shape officers' behavior, is a critical component of the problem of police corruption today. This commission, therefore, was not satisfied simply to examine the type of police corruption we found to exist. The more difficult question we asked is why such corruption exists. What are the root causes and prevailing conditions that nurture and protect it? And how can they be effectively addressed? One, by examining the variety of influences and attitudes that contribute to corruption, can we assess and formulate strategies to stop it. The code of silence and other attitudes of police officers that existed at the time of the Knapp Commission continue to nurture police corruption and impede efforts at corruption control. Scores of officers of every rank told the Commission that the code of silence pervades the department and influences the vast majority of honest and corrupt officers alike. Although police officers who look the other way while colleagues steal property, sell drugs, or abuse citizens' civil rights may not directly be involved in corruption, they nonetheless support and perpetuate it by abandoning their professional obligations. These aspects of police culture facilitate corruption primarily in two ways. First, they encourage corruption by setting a standard that nothing is more important than the unwavering loyalty of officers to one another, not even stopping the most serious forms of corruption. This emboldens corrupt cops and those susceptible to corruption. Second, these attitudes thwart efforts to control corruption. They lead officers to protect or cover up for other crimes, even crimes of which they heartedly disapprove. They lead to officers flooding departments' radio channels with warnings when internal affairs investigators appear at precincts and refusing to provide information about serious corruption in their commands. Changing these aspects of police culture must be a central task if corruption controls are ever going to succeed. The reality of police work bolster these corruptive features of police culture. As a society, we expect more of police officers than any other public servant. We call upon them daily to accomplish a variety of competing responsibilities. We expect them to be daring crime fighters as well as patient mediators. We call upon them to stop crime in our neighborhoods, to resolve our domestic disputes, and to act as obedient members of paramilitary organizations. Most of all, we expect them to confront physical danger and risk their lives to protect our lives and property. After a time, particularly in high crime areas, they begin to identify the criminals they must confront every day with the community they must serve. They begin to close ranks against what they perceive as a hostile environment. Consequently, many officers lose sight of the majority of law-abiding citizens who live in their precincts. When this happens, corruption becomes easier to commit and to tolerate. Citizens often return this hostility. With crime, drugs, and guns rampant in parts of our city, the public incorrectly faults the police. When incidents of police corruption are disclosed, the community incorrectly assumes that this is the norm. When police officers interfere with citizens' activities, the public often resents it. Police officers feel this resentment. What the Knapp Commission observed in its time is just as applicable today. Nobody, whether a burglar or a Sunday motorist, likes to have his activities interfered with. As a result, most citizens at one time or another regard the police with a varying degree of hostility. The policeman feels and naturally often returns the hostility. Faced with this resentment, the dangers of their work, and their dependence on others officers for their mutual safety, police officers naturally band together, often to such a degree that officers become isolated from the outside world. They socialize with and depend upon fellow officers not only on the job, but off. An intense group loyalty fostered by shared experiences and the need to rely on each other in times of crisis emerges as a predominant ethic of police culture. This loyal ethic itself is not corruptive. Loyalty and trust are vital attributes that promote effective and safe policing. We cannot ask police officers to abandon their loyalty to each other while simultaneously demanding that they confront danger for us. But group loyalty often flourishes at the expense of officers' sworn duty. It makes allegiances to fellow officers, even corrupt ones, more important than allegiances to the department and the community. When this happens, loyalty itself becomes corrupt and erects the strongest barrier to corruption control, the code of silence and the us versus them mentality. And that's exactly where we are today. We are in an us versus them mentality. And so what you're hearing here, you're hearing how they see the world, how the police see the world, that they are on one team and they have to band together so strongly for officer safety. They have to be able to rely on one another at absolutely every turn. So they will then cover up for bad cops because they have to remain loyal to them and rely on them for their safety. And so now when you get into the code of silence, and I wish I had this on Acrobat, but for some reason my computer, whatever. So just follow along, and I'll just continue to read this, but I'm going to read a little bit of it because I want people to actually have a way to have actually had it read to them if they can't read very well. The Code of Silence. The pervasiveness of the Code of Silence is itself alarming, but what we found particularly troubling is that it often appears to be strongest where corruption is most frequent. This is because the loyalty ethic is particularly powerful in crime-ridden precincts where officers most depend on each other for their safety each day, and where fear and alienation from community are most rampant. Thus, the Code of Silence influences honest officers in the very precincts where their assistance is needed most. The pervasiveness of the Code of Silence is bolstered by the grave consequences for violating it. Officers who report misconduct are often ostracized and harassed, become targets of complaints and even physical threats, and are made to fear that they will be left alone on the streets in a time of crisis. This draconian enforcement of the Code of Silence fuels corruption because it makes corrupt cops feel protected and invulnerable. As former police officer Bernard Cawley testified at his public hearing, question, were you ever afraid that one of your fellow officers might turn you in? Answer, never. Question, why not? Answer, because it was the blue wall of silence. Cops don't tell on cops. And if they did tell on them, just say if a cop decided to tell on me, his career is ruined. He's going to be labeled a rat. So if he's got 15 more years to go on the job, he's going to be miserable because it follows you wherever you go. And he could be in a precinct. He's going to have nobody to work with. And chances are, if it comes down to it, they're going to get him. They're going to get him. They're going to let him get hurt. In his public hearing testimony, another corrupt officer, Kevin Hemberry, concurred. If you're labeled a rat, especially early in your career, you're going to have a difficult time for the remainder of your career in the New York City Police Department. You do not want to be labeled a rat. You will be the recipient of bad practical jokes, even things more serious than practical jokes. Then, to leave or request to leave the environment that you were in wouldn't be the end of that labeling for you that you had. Phone calls will be made to wherever your final destination was in the department. Your name travels with you. It's something you couldn't shake. Dozens of honest officers similarly told the commission about their fear of breaking the Code of Silence. Lieutenant McNamara, a highly decorated lieutenant with 20 years experience in the department, testified that this view at the public hearing. Question, what is the consequence of breaking the Code of Silence? Answer, the cops are ostracized at times. They're held away. They're pushed off to one side. They're kept away from the rest of the group. I almost say it's be like the effects of a divorce. You're separated from your family. You're alone. You're over here. Your family, the cops, are over there. The commission interviewed a number of officers who suffered the penalties of being labeled a rat. Their name will be withheld for obvious reasons. A captain we interviewed spent 13 years as a police supervisor, a field internal affairs unit investigator, and duty captain or shoe fly in Brooklyn. He was a stern disciplinarian who often disciplined his subordinates for misconduct and reported allegations of corruptions to internal affairs. During the course of his career, he was assigned to 38 different commands throughout the city. In almost every case, on the very day he arrived to report for duty at his new command, he found evidence that his reputation preceded him. At one command, his locker was burned. At another, his car tires were slashed. At another, he received threats of physical harm. In another case, a detective who served on internal affairs was transferred to precinct detective squad. In his first week, his new colleagues made sure he knew that he would be alone on the street. They placed a dead rat on his car windshield, stole or destroyed his personal property, and told him directly that he could not count on them in times of danger. The constant harassment eventually led the detectives to seek psychological counseling and restricted duty. The inclusion of police culture the inclusion of police culture begins early in police officers' careers, as early as the police academy. Police officer Otto, an officer assigned to a high crime precinct who agreed to testify publicly before the commission only in disguise because of the code of silence, told us that he learned about the code of silence while he was still a recruit at the police academy. How do police officers learn about this wall or code of silence? Answer: it starts in the police academy and it just develops from there. It starts with the instructors telling you to never be a rat, never give up your fellow officer. It starts with other recruits telling you they'll never give you up. And it just goes down the line as you go through NSU, neighborhood stabilization units, and into precincts TR 14. So, I mean, I know it's not super exciting. You're not seeing the blood on the walls, but you are. You when you read the Mollen Commission, you start to understand that they think they've joined this brotherhood of GI Joe losers, that they're going to flashbang into a house and save the day. And they believe that and now I think that they're correct. The public now is openly hostile to police. I mean, put a 1 in the chat if you're openly abrasive and rude to cops. Put a 1 in the chat if you're openly, I guess kind of, sort of, right? Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to come on a little while because I didn't want anybody. I mean, I could just go on and on, but I'm a nerd. I can sit around and read something or dig into something for hours and hours and hours on end, the exact same thing, and just stay in it. And so I would also, let me scroll down to another page so you guys know where else to take a look at. Oh yeah. Let's just go down to page 70 just really quick. We're not gonna stay here all day, but let's just go down to page 70 real fast so that you guys can just know part of this book, of this commission. And it's right on 70. That thing on the left doesn't work. If it did, I would use it. But I'm on preview. I'm not using Acrobat Reader, so it's not as good as I would like it to be, but you still will get it. So just this one paragraph right here kind of sums it up. Chapter 4, the collapse of department corruption controls. All parts of the department's corruption systems had been functioning terribly for years. All parts of the department's corruption systems had been functioning terribly for years. Top commanders in and out of internal affairs didn't seem too concerned about that, however, because it guaranteed no bad headlines. But when they heard about an independent monitoring commission was being set up to see how they were doing in the corruption area, things quickly started changing. And this chapter right here, this whole chapter talks about how as soon as you bring in a third party, that everybody starts to change their behavior as soon as they know that they're going to be being monitored. And again, this Mollen Commission is available on deletelaws.com for free. You don't have to have any money to get it. You just go to deletelaws.com and go to downloads, and you can download this bad chicken, and you can start to read this. And the more you read of this, the more you'll understand how police work. Because often, when you're explaining to friends and family that police are demons over this Christmas, when you go to your friends and family and you start to share with them how you really feel about this police state, prison state, death state, often when people start to debate one another, they don't have real hard facts. But with the Mollen Commission, if you print this sucker out and you have this and you just thumb through it, you'll have real hard facts about why this current system has to be changed, why the policies created by the Supreme Court that create the policies for police have to change. And this will give you the firepower you need. It's so easy to read it too. It is so fun to, I don't want to bore you guys and sit and read this thing while you guys are watching a video screen and you want to see videos and whatnot. But I found something I found something really disturbing today when I watched one of Brian's videos. And I just started to wonder, God bless you guys. Good to see everybody. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. And I started to wonder, this team DLZ, are we strong enough to have our political differences? Because we need to be able to strongly disagree with one another and still understand that the bigger issue that you and I face is that we have to fight for our rights. We have to fight for our Fifth Amendment, our First Amendment, our Second Amendment, our Ninth Amendment, we have 14th Amendment, Fifth Amendment, Eighth Amendment. We have to fight for our rights. And so when I saw one of Brian's videos today from Here's the Deal, and it's a 2-hour video, so I'm not going to show the whole thing, but I do want to show part of this video. And, what he says in here has a lot of balance. So let me start off. Let me start off with this right here. So this will help you guys understand that the devil is in the detail with the way you are politically. For me personally, the way that I am and what I care about the most are your rights and my rights. That's when we talk about rights. I say, William in here, I care about William's rights. I care about William's rights. He's in the comment section right here. I see your name, William. I'll highlight you. I'll put your name up on the board. There's William right there. So I care about William's rights. And so when I hear people tell me things about politics or political stuff, when I hear about, I want to show you guys just a couple minutes. Then I'm going to show you Brian's video, and I'm going to ask you where you stand. If you can separate your own personal. So, for example, Ronald Reagan. How many people have some great sort of admiration for Ronald Reagan? Do you have some great affinity for Reagan? Like Reagan was some great man. Down here, look at this. And now Reagan introduces for-profit prisons right here.
The first reform I want to talk about today concerns that exclusionary rule. As you know, the Supreme Court recently.
So the exclusionary rule, first established 1914, Weeks versus United States, then established again in the 1961 case of Mapp versus Ohio, that creates fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine, where you can't go in and just take evidence from someone even if you know they're guilty. But that exclusionary rule makes it so you have to have a warrant to come into my house.
Today concerns that exclusionary rule.
So what he wants to talk about
here,
the first order of business he wants to talk about today is the exclusionary rule.
Reform I want to talk about today concerns that exclusionary rule. As you know, the Supreme Court recently recognized that it makes no sense to apply the exclusionary rule when a police officer believes in reasonably good faith that he is acting under a valid warrant, even if the warrant is defective for some reason. My proposal would codify the existing reasonable good faith exception and expand it to warrantless searches and seizures. Searches by the even believes in reasonable.
Okay, so Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. We know, right? Sounds great. Love tear down this wall. Love that kind of idea of freedom. But then here, Ronald Reagan.
Good faith.
So now, not only can they get rid of the exclusionary rule, Mapp versus Ohio, exterminate your Fourth Amendment, but they only have to believe in reasonably good faith that they can that there's criminal activity afoot in your house. 1949 Brinegar versus United States, a man of reasonable caution believes crime is afoot.
As you know, the Supreme Court recently recognized that it makes no sense to apply the exclusionary rule when a police officer believes in reasonably good faith that he is acting under a valid warrant, even if the warrant is defective for some reason. My proposal would codify the existing reasonable good faith exception and expand it to warrantless searches and seizures. It'll make a difference to those of you on the front line.
And now after that, who make a difference? I'm sorry. Make a difference to who? What people on the front line? Who is that? The police. The police on the front line. That's who it's going to make a difference to, is the cops on the front line. Get rid of your Fourth Amendment so that the cops feel better. You're going to see an explosion at the same rate from here to here, all the way going here. And then, so now we get to 1994 and the Mollen Commission comes out. And the Mollen Commission says the same thing about the Wickersham Commission and the same thing that the Knapp Commission says, but it also says that police have now created a blue wall of silence, that they will not speak on other police. Okay, so that's all fine and dandy. I'm very proud of this work that I did. I'll show you guys that video if you want to see it sometime. But what I want to talk about here is Brian's video
going to fall apart. Do you want it to fall apart with your vote? Support him. And I don't think so. Line up with the truth. I've got this chart right here. Biden's already playing.
So, and here's what I want to talk about, So according to what Brian is saying, is that he's reading articles that Mr. Trump is saying he wants to indemnify police, hold harmless, no more lawsuits. This is, and Brian shows an article here where he says that, where Mr. Trump is quoted as saying that he wants to indemnify police. I'll show you exactly where he says it. Right here.
Civil asset forfeiture.
Trump is going to indemnify police.
You know what civil asset forfeiture is? You can be driving down the 4% of you wake the F up. And then he has this article by Newsmax. Oh, when 95% of you wake the F up. And then he has this article by Newsmax, which I pulled up and did not know before I released that video yesterday. This is another burr in my saddle with regards to Trump and showing you that he absolutely hates your guts. Do you think cops care about you?
No. Do you think, put a 1 in the chat if you think cops don't care about you. Put a 1 in the chat if you think cops do not care about you. Let me put my 1. I don't think they care about me. I think that they'll torture cuff me and take me to a dungeon and arrest me in 2 seconds flat, hurt me, tase me, make my cuffs tight, beat me with sticks. I don't think there's any limit to what a cop will do to me. So if you agree with me, put a 1 in the chat. If you think cops will hurt you upon sight for no good reason, they'll just begin to hurt you and they'll scream, "Stop resisting." You may even get charged with assaulting an officer as you're being beaten. That's what's happening in our country. Put a 1 in the chat if that's true.
They arrive to do a welfare check, and at the end, you're worse off if you're even alive. You know what Trump's view of law enforcement is? He approved and sanctioned and threw his support behind civil asset forfeiture. You know what civil asset forfeiture is? You can be driving down the road, not convicted of any kind of crime. They could take your car and take every dollar bill in your wallet because they believe that you might be using this to, promote the drug cartel.
Okay, but
that's civil asset forfeiture. Trump is for civil asset forfeiture.
Okay, now let's go back. Where does civil asset forfeiture come from? Where
and expand it to warrantless searches.
After that,
we changed the law so that if you are arrested and you are a drug dealer under our forfeiture statutes, the government can, take everything you own, everything from your car to your house, your bank account, not merely what they confiscate in terms of the dollars from the transaction that you just got caught engaging in. They can take everything. They can take everything.
The senator from Delaware, Joe Biden, is the man who pushed through and reinstituted civil asset forfeiture. Where does civil asset forfeiture originate from? Put a 1 in the chat if you know where civil asset forfeiture originate from. I'll tell you. It comes from the 16th century. After the Columbian experience, when Columbus sets sail and goes to the New World, then they created civil asset forfeiture for sailors who would leave port, and they may charge them with something, but they're never coming back. So they would take their property, civilly seize the property, and say, you can go to the New World, but if you want your property back, it's been seized, you got to come back to get it. It's based on common law from Great Britain. That's where civil asset forfeiture came from. Civil asset forfeiture was dormant all the way up until when? The Reagan era. And who pushed civil asset forfeiture through? Joe Biden. And now I'm kind of putting a lot of things together for you, a lot of knowledge that I have, and I'm helping you put this together now. And now, so what's the people who've done this so far? You got Biden, you got Reagan, and now
he is for law enforcement. Look what he says. Trump going to indemnify policemen and law enforcement. Indemnify simply means to hold them guiltless. They will not be guilty. They will not be under my regime. They will not be guilty of any crime. Are you really for Don? We're going to read some comments where people are like, no, I think Trump's a great guy. You know, I don't.
No. If you truly are change the policing in America, you could not. I mean, I'm sorry. You just saw, I just gave you the history. Joe Biden pushed it through from common law from the 16th century. And now Trump is going to go even further than this. Now he wants to institute nationwide stop and frisk.
I don't agree with everything that he says. That's another thing about voting. Oh, I like this guy and I want him to become president. Now, I don't agree with everything he says. Do you realize the left says that too? The right and the left said that's exactly what they said about Obama. Well, I don't like everything about him. So how bad does it have to get before you realize, hey, not only should this guy not be a president, he should be in jail. Yeah, Trump should be in jail, but then so should Biden.
Yes.
But then so should Obama.
Reagan,
but then so should
Obama,
the Bushes and Reagan. Why? Because they thought they
Nixon
could cross the line and take away your freedoms.
Yes.
I like what Reagan said. Don't get me wrong. The 9 most terrifying words in the English language.
So Brian and I spoke after I watched this video this afternoon, and I sent him the video of Reagan saying we should abolish the 4th Amendment.
He was there to help himself to your stuff. He's the one who initiated the very first semi-automatic weapons ban.
That was Ronald Reagan.
In California in 1967. Look it up. Mr. Republican. Anti-Second Amendment. He needs to be called out. Speaking to one of the most crime-ravaged cities in President Joe Biden's America, this, of course, is Newsmax, who's decidedly biased.
No, this is Richard Nixon's America, everybody. I'm so sorry. You know, the amount of history I've studied in my life and how much I've learned. I'm autodidactic, so I learned everything on my own. I continue to learn every day. I'm completely drenching my brain right now on 19th century Supreme Court case law. So with what I know to be a fact is that every time I hear people say this is Joe Biden's America or Donald Trump's America or Ronald Reagan, no, we are living in Richard Nixon's America. Richard Nixon is going to declare war on drugs in 1971. And there's canons of government. There's like, I'm going to get into stuff I haven't studied in so long. There's canons of government, and there's so many canons within the federal government. and those cannons are the direction it's going to go. And what Nixon did when he declared war on drugs is he turned the cannons of government to create this war on drugs. And that's what we're still living under today. And that's the reason why our streets are gray and dingy and full of homeless people, because we created a criminality out of people who needed help. We created a criminal out of someone who was going to be addicted no matter what you or I said.
In the reporting, former President Donald Trump is vowing, and that's not me saying this, they're biased toward the right. I'm against the left versus right paradigm lie because it blinds people and it takes away their ability to critically think. Former President Donald Trump is vowing a new law and order presidential campaign platform that will protect police from legal liability.
Stop right there. Okay, stop right there. Okay, so everything that I do, my entire thing is so just so you guys know, I'm filing 2 more lawsuits and they're happening lickety-split right now. It has to happen fast right now. And what I'm doing by suing the cops again here in Nevada and possibly in Ohio as well, I can then hope and pray that enough lawsuits against them make it so that the system has to be changed because it's fundamentally broken and it's costing the government so much money because so many people are suing. It's fundamentally what I do. It's what I do. You guys, if you're team DLZ, put a 1 in the chat. You know, what do? I threaten a lot of people with a lawsuit. Who do you see me sue? Cops. And I sued a bunch of trolls in California. They deserved it. But listen, I sue cops. You know I do. I don't want to sue all of them. I wish I had time to sue them all. I don't. So that's what I do fundamentally. And now let me listen to this one more time.
Vowedly bias in the reporting. Former President Donald Trump is vowing, and that's not me saying this, they're biased toward the right. I'm against the left versus right paradigm lie because it blinds people.
Right, because
it's away their
Biden,
ability to critically think.
Reagan,
Former
Trump,
President Donald Trump is vowing
Clinton.
a new law and order presidential campaign platform that will protect police from legal liability.
No.
So he's going to strengthen qualified immunity. They already got qualified immunity. They already got Terry v. Ohio. They already got Pennsylvania v. Mims. They already got all the Supreme Court cases that say, hey, officer safety trumps individual rights. And here's Trump saying it's going to get worse when I become president.
That's right.
Put a 1 in the room if you're
Bobby
still
Kennedy
for Trump, knowing this right here.
No, I mean,
I'll give
it's you know, like I always said, you guys are welcome to vote who you want to vote for. I would strongly recommend you vote third party. You vote for Bobby Kennedy. You can't vote for this. I mean, you can. You're voting against me. You're voting against everything that I do. Straight up. You're voting to indemnify the police and create national stop and frisk. That's what Trump's offering domestically. Like, I don't know how you would endorse that. I don't know how you, as a person who's been a part of this channel, I don't have my blinders on. I see what Biden and what Bill Clinton did, and I see what Reagan did, and I see what Trump has done. And there's no way in hell I would ever vote for this guy. He wants to indemnify police and make it so we can't sue them. That's my whole existence. I still have 2 active federal lawsuits against cops. I'm adding another 2 more. You guys don't know. I have no choice. They wrongfully detained me. I have to sue them. I don't have a choice. But if this happens, then what?
Give you a list of things that if there was only one of them that was true, he should not only not be a president, he should be in jail. But put a 1 in the room if you're for Trump giving becomes president. And this is he keeps it general, man. It's scary general.
Right. Law and order presidential campaign platform that will protect police from legal liability. We're going to do something that I will say is slightly controversial, but it shouldn't be. We're going to indemnify policemen and precincts and states and cities from being sued. What? Trump told young, we want them to do their job.
What's the context of this? You mean an Amber Geiger could literally get away with murder and Trump's going to support them? Are you serious? I forgot what I asked. So what is a 1 means you're still going to support Trump? A 2 means one means you're going to support Trump. 2 means
Listen, I'm not going to put you on the spot. I'm not going to tell you, you do my will. No. You have to, I can show you what's happening. You can make your own decision. I'm not going to, but you are literally voting against everything that I am. If you've ever learned anything from me, if you've ever spent a couple hours listening to me, and then you go and vote to indemnify police, I don't understand that. I don't understand that. I don't. I mean, I'm showing you the information. I'm showing you what the guy said. I'm showing it. I'm voting for Bobby Kennedy because I would never vote for Joe Biden. And I certainly wouldn't vote to indemnify police and make it so that police and cities cannot be sued. How do we redress government? It's just so, and that's not radical.
means you're not going to support Trump. Even in the face of this, we got nothing better, Brian. We got to vote for the
bullshit. There's Bobby Kennedy, who's a gun grabber too, but he won't get anywhere with this Supreme Court.
lesser of two evils. I know I'm not going to.
No, there's not. There's 3. There's Bobby Kennedy as well.
I'm not going to score any brownie points today.
What do we have to lose by voting third party for Bobby Kennedy? Trump sucked in office. Our country was so destroyed. Biden has sucked in office. The only thing we need is energy independence. This bullshit of we can't have our own energy independence. If we're energy independent, our economy will flourish. Our lives will be so much better. There's just so many simple fixes that these politicians keep us fighting amongst each other. And that's what I made this when I was talking about this video was can they divide us? Can you all of a sudden dislike me as a human being after all the time we spent together, after so many things that we've learned together, and then you don't like me because I show you that Mr. Trump is saying he's going to indemnify, he's going to end everything I do.
But you know what? It's about getting the truth. It's not speaking the truth. Here's Trump. Quote, we are going to do something that I will say is slightly controversial, but it should be. We are going to indemnify policemen and precincts.
And precincts?
I'm thinking about New York. All these precincts in New York.
They're all indemnified? Long Island audit never wins?
And states and cities from being sued.
That's all I do, sue cops. It's my only defense against them is to every cop who touches me, I sue, period.
Trump told the New York Young Republicans Club Gale, oh, you mean the job that they did on Daniel Shaver? You mean the job they did on Philando Castile? You mean the job that they did on James Boyd or Eric Garner?
Our police force and law enforcement has to come back, and they want to come back, and they want to do their job, Trump, and we're going to indemnify them so they don't lose their wife, their family, their pension, and their job. They're not losing it now. They're not losing it now. That's just so preposterous to even say stuff like that. It's just so ridiculously stupid. Marxist attack on cops. So ridiculously stupid. I'm going to show you another part of this video because I watched this whole video today. I listened to it as I was doing some stuff. So slammed all day today. Right. Release murderers and rapists and gang members and savages, all innocent people that are walk the street, Trump warned. But that's the problem, is the more cops that you put on the street, the more that those people, the murderers and rapists and savages, it'll be a police state. It'll be against all of us. All of our liberties will be even more stripped down. This guy's a total madman. There's no way.
Gang members and savages on innocent people who walk the streets of our city. Used a thing. That's the guy. And anybody got any questions? I mean, who?
So this is the part. This is the part where I turned. So just so you guys know, I'm fairly conservative. If you didn't know that about me, so I'm a fairly conservative person. I have some fairly conservative
Jones, Vager.
values and stuff that I am big on. And I was watching Trump, and there was times I watched him and I could not stand what he was doing. And there were other times where I was like, man, that's the First Step Act. I was like, man, that's great. But when Trump right here, where is it where he says, take the guns? I can't find
It's
it.
the clever and deceptive.
But there's a specific point on that video where let me just show you. This makes me so frustrated.
Yes, go ahead, Mike.
Well, in the category, you've spoken about it, Mr. President, gun violence restraining orders. They're called. California actually has a version of this. And I think you, in your meeting with governors earlier this week, individually and as a group, we spoke about states taking steps. But the focus is to literally give families and give local law enforcement additional tools if an individual is reported to be a potential danger to themselves or others. Allow due process, so no one's rights are trampled, but the ability to go to court, obtain an order, and then collect not only the firearms, but any weapons.
But Trump doesn't even want you to be able to take them to court. He wants to strip your right to petition the government through your complaint to redress them by suing them. He wants to strip that away from you.
In the possession
Or
of that
Mike,
individual.
take the firearms first and then go to court, because
Take the firearms first and then go to court.
Court, obtain an order, and then collect not only the firearms, but any weapons in the possession
or
of that
Mike,
individual.
take the firearms first and then go to court, because that's another system. Because a lot of times, by the time you go to court, it takes so long to go to court
Just take your guns away from you with no due process.
to get the due process procedures. I like taking the guns early, like in
What the hell?
this crazy man's case that just took place in Florida. He had a lot of firearms. They saw everything. To go to court would have taken a long time. So you could do exactly what you're saying, but take the guns first, go through due process second.
So I guess,
He is for law
My-
enforcement. He really
my bigger question with you guys was like, are you going to be able to handle the political season? Are you going to be able to handle it? Because I'm certainly going to be against Trump and against Biden. I'm going to be squarely against both of them. Just so you guys know, I'm going to be squarely showing you what pieces of shit both those guys are. I mean, you think Biden's a grifter, man. Jared Kushner got $2 billion. That's quite a grift. $2 billion. I guess the Saudis just needed a hedge fund manager. That's all. They were just looking for someone. Uni, did you get your trifold and I think I put 5A cop cards in there for you too. I think I put 5A cops in there. I'm pretty sure that I did. Uni, but I know that you're shipped out, man. I made these $10 and now people are buying like 6 and 7 of them at a time. People are buying like 6 of these. So many people are buying these for stocking stuffers because they're only $10. And so they're just buying a bunch. It's great. It's super great. I have had zero time and I'm a little bit sick. I don't know how I got sick, but I somehow got sick. And it's not what I love, but that's just what happened. It's just, I'm trying not to be sick, but I somehow did get sick and I don't know how. It just came out of nowhere too. All of a sudden I just because I was good. I was totally good for the longest time. And then all of a sudden, I don't know how, I just started feeling like you can hear it in my nasally a little bit, and I had to blow my nose a little bit. It's horrible, and I hate getting sick because I don't do anything to get sick. I don't drink, I don't party, I don't go out. So it's like I did have an 8-year-old's birthday party, and we did run around like madmen. Me like a madman with a bunch of 8-year-old kids, and so that could have ran me down and got me sick, but I'm just battling it a little bit. And it's just it's just an annoyance right now. It's just like so annoying because I don't want to be sick. But I guess I saw that Brian earlier in there, he said that he lost subscribers. And you guys know how I am. You know, I mean, I'm on a mission, you know. I can't get caught up in the minutia and the garbage. You know what I'm saying? Join me. Don't stop. I'm not stopping. Are you stopping? I'm not stopping until we change this system. But to me, Donald Trump is an impediment. He's a problem for this, for us, for people who really want to change this system. He wants to empower the system more. And I think it's the wrong way for America. I'd like to see what Bobby Kennedy can do. He's a Kennedy. John was pretty defiant. Robert was pretty defiant, pretty free spirited. Both those guys. I mean, look, you can wage arguments either way, but we already saw Trump divided our country huge, and Joe Biden's a walking weekend at Bernie's. He's not there. He's gone. And then, do you really want Kamala Harris running the country if Joe can't continue anymore after day one? I don't. I really don't. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. No, I'm voting third party, brother. That's how I'm so I want a third party, because the Democrats and Republicans, like, impeaching Trump was so stupid. What a waste of our time and our money. You know, it's just, there's just so many things that could be done better. You just have to get to the executive position. And I think that's, I think that's what has to happen. A peon has to become the governor. And once the peon becomes governor, you can change so many policies from the top down. It's unbelievable. There's so much power you have as a governor. So much power. You can change the policy. That simple. From the top down. And nobody can override you because you're the governor of the state. I mean, think about that. I can get rid of those torture cuffs day one. Day one in the office. I can get rid of torture cuffs. Executive order. They're gone. We're not going to torture people to detain them. We can get clocks in the prisons day one. I mean, you don't get to know what time it is when you go to jail, because you could be planning some gigantic assault on the fortress that's the dungeon. I don't think so. I don't think so. Permanently ban the prison chair. Someone's unruly, they go in a plastic room. Just throw them right in there. They can run their head in the wall. They can jump up and down like a trampoline floor. Plastic room. They can't tear the plastic, can't bite it. You're not going to get through it. It's industrial plastic, like a giant bouncy room. Spend all the time you need, bro. Puke, poop, pee, do whatever you want. Scream, yell, do whatever you want. You're not going to strap people in a chair anymore. It has to come from the executive, from the top down. But you can change it immediately. You could change it immediately. So many things you could change right away. You can get rid of all the tinting laws. You could just go at them. You can go at it. Especially if you win by being a populist governor. If I win by being a populist governor, then I can go at the legislature and say I'm getting rid of all tinting laws. All of them. There's no more thing as tinted windows. Get rid of all these bullshit pullovers. No more following too close, or, no more registration pullover. You simply mail the person a ticket if the car's on the road. There it is. And it'll get whatever happens. But no more pulling people over and harassing them. Change the way you can do it. Change the way they can interact with us. Reestablish the state's constitution, that you have the Fourth Amendment right to be free of unreasonable searches and seizures. And no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause supported by the oath or affirmation of the victim. For you to be arrested in the state that I'm the governor, there has to be a victim. There has to be somebody that you victimized. It can be done. It's principles of freedom. You don't just get incarcerated because the cop doesn't like you. You don't just get drug off to jail. That can change. All these things can change. It comes from leadership, and the people who are in charge of this country, they don't care about us. Biden and Trump don't care about us. I don't know if Bobby Kennedy cares. I have no idea, but he's a new alternative. And the last two presidents have been so shitty. I'm ready for something different. Yeah, that's all I can do. But all right. Alrighty then. there was something I wanted to show you guys this. I wanted to show you this video that I saw. Let me see if I can show you this. I'm not sure if I can or not. I better not. I don't want the video to get demonetized because I want people to see a little bit of the reading of the Mollen Commission, and I want people to be able to follow the idea that we should not be divided. We should not let them divide us over politics. Listen, I've already been called a racist. I mean, you name it. They've created fake that I'm a pedophile. They've done all kinds of things, deleted my accounts how many times, deleted off TikTok with 600, 700,000 subscribers now through all the accounts that have been deleted. So it's like, it's just, they'll do anything to stop true freedom in this country. And the unelected Supreme Court, it's just, we're just living through the absolute worst of despotism. And there's a lot of ideas, and I listen to Elon Musk and Andrew Tate and Alex Jones. If you guys haven't listened to that, there's some pretty interesting stuff you could listen. I could pull it up, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna stick with cop stuff on here. But if you haven't heard the conversation between Elon Musk, Alex Jones, and Andrew Tate, I feel like Tate was kind of exposed a bit with the Piers Morgan interview, but at the same time, he's got a huge voice, he's got a huge platform. So I do find it. This is the one I wanted to show you. This is the video I wanted to show you guys. I do find it interesting that those guys got together on a Spaces on Twitter and talked. And by the way, I just paid for my membership on Twitter for a year, and I highly recommend everybody else does as well. And follow me on Twitter, Delete Laws, or because I want to support free speech, even if it's hard to do. So let me clear my throat. Okay, so this video right here. So, I mean, I'm not sure if you guys know this or not, but I've advocated for a new system. And the system that I've advocated for is an open circuit television system, so that we all get access to the same cameras, and that you don't have to kick someone's door down. You can simply post a camera on a pole and put a sign there and say, "This man is wanted. Don't touch this camera. If you see him, contact authorities." But there's someone watching the camera. So this is a very ironic story, because this story right here, it's going to kind of embody some of the principles, some of the ideas that I've been trying to convey, that you don't have to bombard somebody, that you don't have to go in and kill everybody. But this is a very perverse and upfront assault on our conscience, because this cop gets away with this egregious, horrific
house, but police have left the scene. Man remains inside the house, but police have left the scene. KTVU crime reporter Henry Lee is live outside the police department. Henry, you are trying to get answers about the reason why for all of this. What have you learned?
Well, Andre, I've been a crime reporter for a while now, and the police tactics here clearly very unusual. A man suspected of shooting and wounding his wife, but not arrested. In fact, he's still at his home as we speak, but it's very clear. Police know who he is, and they're trying to give him some time.
Shooting and wounding his wife.
And distance. Let's show you some video from earlier.
It's a retired copper. This is the night before. They set up shop, the whole thing, the SWAT team, the whole thing, and they're going to leave.
Today, the shooting happened at a home on Cleopatra Drive in Pleasant Hill's Sherman Acres neighborhood at about 7 last night. Police say a woman was locked out of her house by her husband, and that as she tried to get inside through a barricaded side garage door, her husband fired a single shot from a shotgun toward the door, hitting his wife. She was taken to a hospital with injuries that were not life-threatening, and she has since been released. But the husband stayed inside the house. Police called in crisis negotiators and the Contra Costa County Regional SWAT team, and for hours, police tried to contact the man by phone and loudspeaker, but he did not respond. However, The man did post repeatedly on social media with comments and recordings that police say suggest he may be suicidal. The department even replied to some of his posts on X, but again got no response. Police decided to leave the area at about 1 this morning. They say the circumstances surrounding this incident indicate the man is not an immediate threat to the general public.
What? They left him there with his weapons after he shot his wife? He's a retired cop, but he's not a threat to the general public. And now this is what I've said. This is what I've said 1,000 times, to be honest with you. I've said, you don't have to arrest the guy who beats his wife. You can just go sit there, and eventually he has to do what you want him to do. He only wants to beat her. Just being honest.
Pleasant Hill Police did post an advisory as they left, offering resources to the man if he was experiencing a mental health crisis. Now,
he shot his wife with a shotgun, and he's an ex-cop, retired copper. Is he experiencing a mental health crisis? I think he probably is.
Decision to pull up stakes came after Pleasant Hill PD ordered nearby residents to shelter in place for hours.
I saw big trucks, army trucks, sort of army trucks, squad cars, whatever it was, with machine guns. So it was pretty serious here.
Now, out of safety concerns, I have not gone up to this man's door, but I have texted and tweeted at him asking for his thoughts. He did respond by X, or what previously known as Twitter. He said he would not respond or talk unless it was in the public, out in public and online.
So the press, the mainstream lying press, is outside the guy's house that just shot his wife, wanting a statement from him. And the cops aren't beating down his door.
Reporting live in Pleasant Hill, Henry Lee, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Henry, like you, I've never heard of a tactic like this before, but what can you tell us about the residents of that neighborhood? Are they being allowed to go back home? Is that shelter in place still in place at this hour?
Yeah, shelter in place was lifted at about 1 in the morning. I know some other media have been circulating through the neighborhood. One resident apparently didn't even know that there was a lockdown at that time. But again, free flow for everyone, not one police car on the scene at this hour.
And did police tell you that they're concerned about the people going in and out of their homes that live next door to where this is happening?
Yeah, they're saying that there is no immediate threat to the general public, so people are free to come and go as they please. But we do understand that this man has been taking photos of media and posting it on X. So just be advised, just be careful.
Police in Pleasant Hill are telling some residents to stay inside because of an...
So you mean even people who shoot other people, you don't have to kick the door down and kill them? You could just chill and wait them out? Yes, you could. Wow. There's a novel concept that you don't have to make split-second decisions, that was something they created in the 60s for black people. It's true. And so you don't need to go guns blazing. You could just back down and film them and then follow the person with the drone if you have to, if they absolutely need to be detained. Like this guy eventually is going to have to sit down and talk to people. I have some very specific ideas I've shared about this. You don't have to go in torture cuffs. You don't have to. So let's hear what they say.
Armed and dangerous man who may have shot his wife as she was trying to get inside of their home on Cleopatra Drive. The suspect is reportedly a retired police officer. The shooting led to a standoff with officers last night. Police say they initially left the area this morning because they did not believe the man was an immediate threat to the general public.
He's not out to get us. He's out to get his wife.
Oh my goodness. I said that before and people said, Chille's endorsing beating your wife. No, I'm not. I'm endorsing that when violence does happen, you need to interdict it and see if this is some serious violence where you got to get her the hell out of there. Or if you're going to arrest him and they're going to get right back together, is he beating her because he's a drunk, or is he beating her because of unresolved issues? Because even if they don't make it, he's going to beat the next one. And so we didn't do society any good. And we put all that money into locking him up and making him a felon and taking away his job. We spent all that time to do that. And then the next woman gets Ike Turner, just like the last woman. We didn't make society any better. We made the state a lot of money. We made Core Civic a lot of money. We made for-profit entities a lot of money. The judges, the lawyers, the cops, the guards, all them made money. And then when you let that man out, he's worse for you and worse for me. It doesn't work. This locking people in dungeons doesn't work. And this guy just said what I said about a year and a half ago. And people said, oh, Chille's for men beating their wives. No, I'm not. I'm for fixing the man who beat his wife. I'm for immediately putting them with a counselor, separating them, going to the same counselor from boy, girl. And now listening to the story again, spending the entire evening with them with two people in a double-decker bus where they're at other ends of it. And these are coordinated off. And we see if this guy's a psychopath, a drunk. Is she lying? I mean, let's not pretend like that women don't lie about, oh, he pushed me, he smacked me. It's true. And then there's dudes who beat their wives. We get it. But the idea is that we fix the problem and we don't create another felon who can't get a job, is 14 steps behind everybody else because he spent 3 years in the can. We didn't make anything any better for us, for society, for the peons, for the regular folks who have to live day to day and get on the road and go to the store and go grocery shopping and go and get the kids and the things we have to do. But if you lock someone in a dungeon and treat, like even this retired pig who's getting away with shooting his wife right now, right? He's not really going to get away in a true system of justice. He would still have to face justice. But instead of going in and killing him, let's let him cool down. And then let's take him when he comes outside, bring in some friends and family, people he's going to know, and be like, yo, Harold, come on, you know you got to face the music. And most people go through ebbs and flows of manic and depressive and manic and depressive. And so you can reason with somebody in the right moment, in the right mood. And I thought that the cops did the right job here. You should back down with most people. Let them calm down.
Guess. Well, so.
Suspect is reportedly retired. Initially left the area this morning because they did not believe the man was an immediate threat to the general public.
He's not out to get us. He's out to get his wife.
Right.
I guess.
Right.
So he's not in danger for the people here in his neighborhood.
Exactly. And that's 99% of people.
Now, for hours, police tried to contact the man by phone and loudspeaker, but he did not respond, nor did he reply to police on social media after he posted comments and recordings. Police suggest he may be having a mental health crisis.
You think? Do you think so? I mean, do you think so? But the truth is that we don't need to have our cops kill this many people because they won't come out of their house with an entire freaking SWAT team outside. Why would you want to come outside with the SWAT team outside? People ask me why I didn't go down to UNLV the other day. And I said, why would I want to go down to UNLV where they're having a lockdown and a bunch of pigs are running around like G.I. Joe loser? And when it comes down to it, it's going to be one person who shoots him. Well, not in our society. They hunt him down, 15 people shoot him from 15 angles. But if you just relaxed a little bit, and we had an open circuit camera system, we would be able to pinpoint where the person is. We'd be able to solve all crimes, and we wouldn't have law enforcement because we would only be able to have room for rights protectors. So anyway, what's going on, everybody? Hit the like button. Sorry, I was just like, you know what?
The murder trial for a man accused of.
Yeah. Pennsylvania police corporal sentenced to 23 years in prison, followed by 25 years supervised released on child exploitation conviction. Ugh. What to do with police brutality?
Hello.
Oh, yeah. I tried to watch this guy yesterday. He kind of lost me. Enjoy that little nap. South Carolina deputy fired and charged after punching suspect and knocking him unconscious. I can't show it again because they are you guys still there? Okay. I thought the stream got cut off. Can't show that because my video got demonetized for showing that guy punch him in the face. And if it gets demonetized, then people can't watch the other stuff on here, like the Mollen Commission. It was pretty boring, but still, some people might find a lot of interest in that.
Has been suspended.
A devastated family has been waiting for came. Decatur's mayor announced begin in Decatur, where a decision a devastated family has been waiting for came. Decatur's mayor announcing tonight, effective immediately, the firing of 3 officers and a 4th suspended for the deadly shooting of Steve Perkins. WAFF 48's Matthew King has seen reaction firsthand in the River City. Tonight, he's live. Matthew, how do those involved feel about this?
Yeah, well, for those Decatur protesters who have been on these streets for a couple of months now, tonight feels like a major victory. But for the family of Steve Perkins, they feel like it's just another point in the line towards true justice. They say they will continue fighting for their loved one until they see complete change in their city's police department and charges for those police officers involved.
So, as you guys know, being a part of Team DLZ here, as long as we have these policies, procedures, and protocols, as long as we have Terry versus Ohio, Terry policies, you have to get on your knees, on your belly, and the police departments around the country have created policies around detainment. It doesn't matter who you hire. It doesn't matter which new pigs you bring in or old pigs or military or not military. If you follow those policies, procedures, and protocols, you are a jackboot thug pig. You are the enemy of the people, the enemy of freedom. You must be a total coward and just want to hurt other people to sign up to be a pig.
Involved.
3 of the officers involved have been terminated. 1 officer who, based on the facts of the case, was found to be involved to a lesser degree, has been suspended.
After a lengthy review process, the city of Decatur is punishing the officers who shot and killed Steve Perkins the night of September 29th. Police Chief Todd Pinion found his officers violated department policies, leading to the punishment.
Regular folks, regular Americans, people who saw the video and know the story, we just considered it to be murder. We just, not that they violated policy or anything like that. I don't know what that, I'm just saying murder. Your cops murdered people. That's what most people, put a 1 in the chat if you think it was just murder. I mean, I don't know. He got violated policy. He got fired. They murdered a man. They're going to lose their job. Maybe not even go through a trial. So I'm not really sure what the hell this guy's talking about.
Mayor Mollen could not name the officers. However, those details could be released if the officers appeal the decision.
Their names, charges, and additional details will become public as part of a potential personnel board appeals hearing.
Members of the Perkins family, represented by attorney Cannon Lambert, feel disappointed over the city's lack of communication.
They're taking a shot right there?
Process.
People are surrounded.
Are they taking a shot? Is that what's up? Is that maybe it's a prayer or something? Maybe I'm saying something stupid. Sorry about that.
Over the city's lack of communication throughout the entire process.
People are surrounding this family with love because they know and understand what took place and how this shouldn't have happened. But then at the same time, you have people that are in power that seem to be stepping back from the family at the very moment that they should should be riding with them.
Yeah, we know this. We know this to be a fact. Yo, Press with Rancor is here. So, Press, let's schedule some time and let's do an update, bro. Let's everybody, Press with Rancor is here. His channel's been pretty dormant for a while because he was arrested and the judge said he couldn't record police. So get over there and subscribe to his channel, Press with Rancor, right there. Someone can put his link in the chat. And he was just going through court Adam, shoot me an email. I don't know how you don't have it. Adam, shoot me an email. I don't know how you don't have yours. I mean, 90% of everybody has their stuff now. I don't know how you don't have yours. Just reach out to me. Send me your order number. I'll just call you. I'll call you on the phone. I mean, I'm not squatting on you, brother. I promise. We did lose a lot of orders. We didn't lose them. The technology just lost them. So we did lose a lot of orders. That's a fact. And I'm sorry if you got missed, but just contact me. So Adam, I mean, I've been very public about what happened. We lost a lot of orders. And so if you didn't get yours by now, dude, you got to contact me because I've shipped out every missed order. Like I created my own shipping factory. That's why I was so busy all day today shipping. each one of these cards, and because people are putting on the notes when they're buying the Fifth Amendment cop card that they want it for Christmas. So Adam, I'll hook you up, dude. I'll give you a bunch of stuff. Just shoot me your order number, dude. I will hook you the flock up. John, you got your stuff, right? I mean, just let me know if you guys got your stuff. Okay, so hoodies are done. Hoodies are in LA. I'm currently in Vegas. Hoodies were done today. I got the text message, but I can't get to LA till day after tomorrow. I want to show them to you. I want to feel them, touch them, so that I know that they're good. And then I can put up some pre-orders maybe tomorrow, or maybe I get off this live. Oh, you got yours? Did everybody get their stuff in the mail? If you guys didn't get your stuff in the mail, please contact me. We did have a technical issue. I'm so sorry, but I have been on it like white on rice, and I've gotten everybody their stuff. Apparently Adam didn't get his stuff. I'm so sorry. And then, oh, by the way, no, and then like 6 different envelopes came back, and there's 150 envelopes or something. So it's like so many people, Yeah, James, I filled out your address. I filled out your address and your information on the envelope. If the shipping is going to be a problem, then it's going to be my problem. I'm not going to, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You can order the hoodie tomorrow. I'll put them on pre-order tomorrow. You got all the stuff? Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying, Adam, if you didn't get your stuff, dude, you need to reach out to me right away. Especially if it's been more than 30 days, like you got to reach out to me right away. Like right away. And then I'm going to give you a bunch more stuff for free because the order was screwed up. So, yeah. Yep. That's a fact. Yeah, Shanta. Shanta, yours was one that came back. Yours. Let me read those off. Let me read off the ones that came back because I took a picture of. Obviously, I can't show everybody's. I can't show people everybody's envelopes, but I can just show you these are the ones that came back. Okay. Shanta came back. John came back. Those are the ones I know off the top of my head. Oh, Todd in South Dakota. Todd in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Todd, yours came back. It came back in the mail. So Todd from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, please contact me as soon as you can. And then here's the envelopes that came back that I reshipped again today. Shanta's was one of those. Ernest, yours came back. Gary M in Florida, yours came back. Jim L in Alabama, yours came back. John S, who I mentioned earlier, his came back. Joseph F in New Jersey, his came back. I reshipped it again today. Shanta in the chat. Angie H in Kentucky, yours came back today. David H in Wyoming, yours came back. And that's it. Those are the ones who came back today. So those all came back today. So I reshipped them again today. I'm on it, my friends. 95% of people are getting their stuff. So it should be. And then the ones from this week, boy, no, I mean, well, I guess since I took over a week ago, since I took over all shipping a week ago, people are getting their stuff like that now. And there's none missed. These ones that came back, that sucks because I shipped those a week ago and they all came back. So You got yours? Cool. Yeah, most people got their stuff. Most people have gotten their stuff, especially since I took over shipping. And then a poster went out today. Someone got one of the posters and I shipped it today. And I only have, just so you guys know, I have 2 posters left in stock, and then I'm going to be out for the year. I'll show you guys the poster. I have 2 of these full-size posters left in stock. And then I'm completely sold out for the year. I have 2 posters, two printed laminated posters left. That's what I have left in stock. So if you guys want a poster, this is, and then I'm going to change it out. Matter of fact, these may be the last 2 posters, period, of this particular brand, because now I'm going to do the new Constitutional Law Scholar poster. And so it'll be a lot different than this one. So, but I have 2 of these left in stock. And then, I know John, yep, I know John. I hooked up so many people. I'm, like I said, I have so many, yeah, Uni, I sent yours. So I personally sent yours. I personally went to the mailbox and put it in the mail. So, yeah, you got 2 pairs. Yeah. If I can hook people up, I'm hooking people up, because like if especially if there's any delay in anything, then I'm hooking people up. You know what I'm saying? Like I just am. It's good. And yeah, and just so you guys know, it's taken 7 to 10 days from California to Florida to New York sometimes now. That's why I'm so bummed out about Shanta's coming back, about Todd in South Dakota, about his coming back. I'm so bummed out. So bummed out. But at the same time, you know what I mean? Nice. Yeah, I mean, since I took over shipping. So anyway, I can go blab on and on and on and on about it, but there's no point. Let me just. So I believe that was Edward or someone in the beginning said it's been like over a month. Dude, you got to reach out to me. So let's get your order taken care of for you right away. Let's go back over here to our favorite. Oh, we already saw. Oh, did you guys see this new one that I'm looking at now? It's a few bad apples. A few bad apples. Oh man. So much violence. There's so much violence in the world. It's just like, I hate it. I want to do something more, Chevy, what's going on, Playboy? I mean, don't you guys want to change this system? I mean, don't you want to change this bullshit system? I mean, don't you guys want it to be better? I mean, I don't want the same old. I want it to be better. And I'm willing to take, I mean, obviously I take huge risks with my own life. So I want to change it, and I'm going to change it. I promise you. I'm 49. That means I have 26 good years left. You get 75 years. That's how many years you get. My uncle-in-law just died. And so, but I've known him since I was in 4th grade. So, you get 75 years. He died at 75. And Eddie Murphy has a pretty famous little 1-minute video that his voice is on. I mean, people put, so you get 75 years is what Eddie Murphy says. You guys can look up his 1-minute speech. And so I got 26 years left to get into a position of power where I can change the policy from the top down for the peons, for us, so that we live in a more humane, nicer society, nicer people, nicer government. The brand of violence that we see all over America is from police. The brand of violence that we see is from the 1850 slave catchers coming up into the North and beating and killing blacks in the streets under the name that they were law enforcement. And the people saw that happen. And that brand of violence became acceptable by people who called themselves law enforcers. As you know, the 1704 South Carolina slave catchers created law enforcing so they could enforce slavery contracts. 1850, you get the Fugitive Slave Act, that anybody who goes above into the Northern Territory is a fugitive slave, and the law enforcers can come up from the South and take them back, often dead or alive. So we created this brand of violence around law enforcers. And the entire term law enforcers, again, is going to be based on slavery, based on the idea you're enforcing these contracts. And so when you see the brand of violence that we see across Reddit or X or Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, then that is a direct reflection of the violence that we saw as kids in the streets. And where do we see that sanctioned violence? From these people wearing a badge calling themselves law enforcers. It's been a real degradation on society all the way around, putting people with badges on that can do any kind of physical violence they want to people as long as they wear a badge and a funny hat and they say that we're authority. And that's what's created this horrible system that we live in today, is the idea that it was okay to beat, maim, or even kill this black guy in the street because he was just a runaway slave anyway. He was someone else's property. What do you care? He's not even your property. And so we learn this brand of violence by the law enforcers. The violence we see today is based on what we learned by allowing this sanctioned violence to happen in front of us. Because when you see violence, your brain gets violence. That's what you see. And so we've seen this for centuries now because of police in our country. They are the biggest problem we face. And so that's why I read you guys a little bit of the Mollen Commission. And that's why I told you guys, I don't know how in good conscience, no matter how much you love Mr. Trump, I don't know how you could vote for that, how you could vote to indemnify police and to end lawsuits. Like, that's all I do for a living. That's all I do. That's it. I take on cops, and I if they touch me, I sue them. But I can't sue them anymore if Trump gets in. It'll be horrible. It'll be horrible. It'll be really horrible. It'll be horrible. Don't let them break us apart. Don't let them break apart the team. We got good people here. I mean, Chevy down here, I got his comment pinned. You know, Gloria, April, Mr. Bones, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Adam, can you, as quick as you can, Adam, get me your order number. Adam, I'm deeply troubled that you've gone for so long without your product. Deeply troubled. So you got to get back to me as soon as you can. All right, it's so late on the East Coast. It's past 1, so almost 1 o'clock in the morning. I should get the flock out of here. I love spending. What's the matter, you? I love spending time. Victor, I'm glad you're back, man. No, I wouldn't call the cops ever. I wouldn't call cops ever. But listen, I'm now doing all shipping. So Adam, I got you, dude. I got you. I don't know how you would have gone through my radar this past 10 days when I took over shipping. It was like just eviscerating orders that were missed, so, but this Fifth Amendment cop card, people are ordering and there's only one shipping charge. There's not multiple shipping charges anymore. I don't know how that ever happened, but it was fixed, and it was only 3 people. So thank God. But if you order should I do a deal? I should do a deal. If you order 1, I'll give you 2. All right. But don't order 3 and want 6. I'll give you an extra one. If you order 1, so that way, if you order 1 right now over the next hour from 9:50 p.m. till 10:50 p.m., if you order 1, I'll give you 2. You'll get 2 sets of cop cards, and that's what I'll do. Just a little promo at the end of the show to get more out. Yeah, I mean, I can't support the man. I'm disappointed in reading that he wants to indemnify police. I mean, I'm just disappointed in it. Nice to see you, April. All right, listen, I better get the flock out of here. Mikey, Greg, good to see you guys. Thank you for coming. MK Ranger, if you need a trifold, Mick Ranger, if you need a trifold, you can just reach out to me. I'm easy to reach, man. I read all my emails. So, all right, I'm going to get the flock out of here. I appreciate you guys coming. So I didn't plan on doing this at all. I'm sick, as you can hear. And I was like, you know what? I just got to get on for a little while and talk to my people. Because remember, I need you guys as much as you may need to hear my voice. I need you to. I'm going to get the flock out of here. I'll see you guys on the next one. Later, Gators.